turn that down just a little bit. Awesome. Well, welcome. I'm going to steal a chair here. If you are a member and you did not sign in, just put a check by your name. I'm really low. That won't work tonight. If you forgot to sign in, just put a check by your name. You can go and do that now. That way we can keep tabs on who's here and who's not here. I'm an analytical person. I like to stalk all you guys and see how often you come and all that. But it's good to see you guys. We have a super exciting night planned. We have 4 investors that are going to pitch our Shark Tank. 3 unless the 4th one decides to show up. And then if we have time and you have a deal that you want to talk about, we'll open it up to someone who didn't put together a presentation but still wants to pitch the Shark Tank. So let me get rolling here. Wow, I just jumped way ahead. All right, if you are a first-time guest, this is your first time here, I want you to jump up, say your name, where you're from, and what you do as far as investing. And I'll grab a mic. All right, who do we have? First time.
My name is Chuck. I live in Hammond, and I just started investing. Just found my first deal, an 8-plex, and 50% ROI. I'm pumped.
You sure you want to keep that one? All right, who is Allison's first?
My name is Marcin Nurek. I'm from Point. I have single-family homes. Done some flips.
My name is Jim. I'm from Fishers, Indiana, and I've been landlording for about 20 years now. I got a lot of investments here in Indiana.
He has like 400. I'm joking. No, he's a good guy.
I'm Bill Gibson. I live in Crown Point, and I have a few single-family homes, buy and hold.
Second.
Hey, everybody, it's Matt. I've been doing this about a year and a half. I've done a few deals.
My name is Justin Relman. I'm from Couts. Just getting into this, looking to network with some private money, hard money, and other wholesalers. And we do a little bit of wholesales ourselves. Just getting into it.
First.
My name is John, mainly from St. John, but I'm living in a rehab in Gary. I'm doing now. Broker 40 plus years, an appraiser 30 plus, mainly single family flips.
I said it's like $5.
My name is Aaron Day. I live in Valparaiso. I've been doing this for about a year, just now in the middle of my first flip. And I'll be looking for another one soon, so bring me a deal.
Yeah.
Hello, Patricia Matthews, and this is just been started, and look you guys up and want to come out and network and just get started. So we're here.
Thanks for coming. I like forcing everyone to get out of their comfort zones.
Hi everybody, my name is Tuukka. I live in Valparaiso, originally from Finland. Lived in South Africa and now in the US about 2.5 years. I have some rentals in like overseas, but looking for opportunities here in the US.
Anyone else? Oh, Alan. This guy's a legend. We'll start with Brad.
I'm Brad from Maryville. Got into landlording, flipping, buying rentals in 1994. Didn't think I could do it. A guy talked me into it. And sold everything that I had in 2006, which was a good move. And then 2005, 2006. And then I got back into it a little bit later. Things started looking better. So.
Alan Watkins, I'm from Valparaiso. I've been a broker and investor for over 30 years now.
All right, I'm Joel. I'm actually from Mokina, bringing Illinois over with everybody else that seems to be doing that. I've been investing out here about 5 years, focusing on anything single family near a lake.
broke it already. All right. So you may notice, if you've been here before, that the video camera that used to sit in the middle, I've moved to the back. And I did that because everybody used to bump it and the video was really shaky. So it's in the back. So if you're gonna stand out back and eat food, that's fine. Just please don't stand in front of the video, because when we're watching the video in a week or two, we don't want to see the back of your head. So real quick, the purpose of the group Invest NWI, and we've been around about a year and a half now, is to bring together investors of all levels to provide an environment for relevant real estate investment education, as well as a place to grow your personal network. When we're done around 8:30, the people that leave first are probably the ones that should be staying the longest, because some of the best deals, best connections you're going to make are after the meeting, talking with everybody. We have the room till 10, so we have plenty of food, plenty of soda, plenty of water. Stay, meet someone that you don't know, and who knows what you'll be able to help them with, and who knows what they may be able to help you with. So, since our last meeting, who did something exciting? Put a house under contract, sold a house, flipped something.
I got my first house I smoked. I started rehabbing it about 2 weeks ago. My first flip.
Fantastic, and you're flipping that? Cool, what city?
Lowell.
Lowell, there you go. Congratulations. Who else did something?
Under contract for.
Ooh, a big one. 8 units in East Chicago. You gonna make a lot of money on that?
I hope so.
That's, does it need a lot of work?
No. Well,
Occupied, or?
it's occupied, but the condition is weird.
Okay. Is it that one that's been on Craigslist for like 7 years and you just bumped the price to like $700,000? Okay. I talked to that guy a couple of times. Anyone else do anything? Well, that is exciting. So a couple of benefits of being part of this group. We already mentioned networking with experienced investors, education through the monthly speakers. One of the first RIA type groups that I went to was a Shark Tank like this, and I got to actually present. I'm like 3 months into my real estate career, and they asked me to present. I'm like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But actually, I made a couple of connections at that meeting. I was presenting a deal where I was looking for some funding, and I'll talk more about that later as we introduce this Shark Tank. But some of the relationships I made in that first meeting are relationships that I still have now. People that I've sold properties to, people that I've lent money to, and vice versa have received money. So just good to get connected with other people. Lawyers, contractors, accountant, landlords. We get a whole mix of people in this group. So again, another place to get deals done, buy houses, sell houses, joint ventures, funding, and then we just rolled out our vendor program. So if you're interested in learning about that, talk to us. But the idea with the vendors is, one, to help support the group, since we do pay a lot of money for the group, but also to provide benefits to you guys, whether that's discounted products or services. So we're going to roll that out pretty soon. Our website that we've been talking about, he finally emailed me back like 30 minutes ago. The website wasn't ready to roll out tonight. We're probably going to launch it next week, work out some of the kinks. But I'm excited about that. It has a member section. So who in here is a member? About half of you. Members get access to all of the videos. So we're recording tonight. We recorded videos for the last year, basically. And a lot of you have looked at the list of subjects that we've had. Hey, I want that video. Well, I have to go on YouTube onto my private page, copy the link, email it to you. So one of the nice aspects about the website is they'll have a member section. You'll have access to all of the videos, so you don't have to wait on me to get it sent to you. If you're not a member and there's a video that you missed, you can buy a one-day access to all of the videos. We'll also post member contact info so you can network with members. We'll have vendor info. So we're excited about that. So real quick on the disclaimer, the material and content presented tonight is for educational purposes only. It's not legal advice. Don't take it that way. The content presented is a recollection of a speaker's personal experiences, their successes, and their failures. You should consult with your own professionals prior to engaging in any activities presented here. The success of the speaker is not a guarantee that you will be successful. Just anything you're going to do your own due diligence. If someone in the group is asking you for money or a JV, talk with other people in the group that may know them and just get a better feel for them. So, a couple of tools and tips. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, log into Facebook now, look up NWI Investor Group, and hit like, and then after the meeting, I will approve you. This group is really good. We have a lot of good conversations going on in the group. This is a place where you guys can ask for recommendations for contractors, for tenant issues. We have a lot of good dialogue on that group. On that Facebook page, we also announce upcoming speakers. We're throwing around some ideas on some special events that we'll do this summer, like a big cookout. You can also talk, if you're looking for money or a joint venture, post that. Ask questions if you want help analyzing a deal before you buy it, ask that as well. Any questions about the group, or if you want a video or want to take us out to lunch, just email group@investnwi.com. So let me make sure this is working. This is pretty cool. We just put this together. That's pretty cool. So that's going to be on our website. That's going to be used in Facebook marketing that we do to grow the group, YouTube marketing. Nick with Northwest Indiana Media did that for us, so we're excited about that. So our main event tonight is the Shark Tank. We have 4 investors that are going to be pitching the Sharks. And like I said, one of the very first meetings I ever went to, I pitched the Shark Tank, and I was doing a deal. I had found it in Dyer, and I was a wholesaler at the time. I still am primarily a wholesaler. This deal that I was pitching, this was one of the first houses I was trying to buy that was occupied. It had a tenant in it. And if you know anything about being a wholesaler, especially if you're new, it's kind of hard to show all of your financial partners and contractors and all the basically your buyers an occupied house. But it was a really good deal. So it just happened to be a Shark Tank at the time. They invited me to speak. So I had this house in Dyer for $35,000, and I was looking for someone to fund the deal. And 2 of the Sharks were very nice to me and asked good questions and understood the deal. 2 of the Sharks were pretty ruthless, told me it was a horrible deal. Long story short, I ended up finding, Justin ended up funding it for me, and that was the start of our relationship, and you see where we are now. Happily married for almost, are we? Yeah, we're 1.5 years already. We should celebrate. Oh, my mom's calling. Should I answer that now? So I bought it for $35,000. One guy, and I don't know if he's here, so I can say it. He's like, I could have bought that deal 6 months ago for $15,000. I'm like, well, if you could have bought it for $15,000, you're done for not. This other guy who I thought was like the Babe Ruth of investing is telling me how bad of a deal it was and how the area is junk and all that. And I'm like, man, you're Babe Ruth. This must be a bad deal. But we closed on it, $35,000. 3 months later, I sold it back to the tenant without doing anything for $65,000. So I thought that was a fairly good deal. I did have to give Justin half of the profit, but I was okay with that. But again, that kind of jump-started my networking with people in that group. So I learned a lot. The other people that presented the deals, I think all 3 of us got a lot of good feedback. So if our sharks want to come up, I have Tom, Justin, Jeremy, and Jeff. And I chose these guys for a couple of reasons. One, they've all been around a long time. They have different degrees of hair. But they all kind of specialize in different areas of real estate. And I tried to find speakers tonight that kind of were across some different areas as well. So I will give them the mic. You can use the one on the table. Just name how long you've been investing and what you primarily focus in.
All right, I am Justin, and I started in, in 2011, primarily as a tax sale buyer. So that was a good portion of my background. So got a lot of experience in probably one of the most dangerous forms of investing. And in 2015, started wholesaling and rehabbing a little bit more, and probably been involved in about 700 transactions now, between buying and selling and different things. So we see a wide variety. Adrian and I buy and sell about 100 houses a year. Rehab a small portion of those, but that's what we do.
Okay, I'm Jeremy Merrick, and I've been in real estate since about 2015 or so a couple of years. Primarily focused on multifamily. I don't really get involved in flips or anything like that. I do have a contracting company, so that kind of keeps me away from wanting to do flips. But yeah, so multifamily is kind of my specialty. Specifically commercial. I don't get involved in like duplexes and fourplexes and stuff like that. But yeah.
My name is Tom. Wow. Tom Olson, and I wasn't wholesaling for a long time, and then kind of realized that that's not really investing. So now we own about 30 rentals, 7 vacation rentals, and I really focus most of my time on educating other people. So educating turnkey buyers who want to buy cash flowing real estate, which this is a great area of the country to buy cash flowing real estate, and then also educating other people on how to do what we do. So that's what I do.
I do all that. I'm Jeff. I started in 2013. I've done 300 or 400 deals. I started in wholesaling. I don't do much wholesaling, but I did wholesale one today to a guy in this group. First one I've done probably in a year. I went from wholesaling to doing flips to keeping rentals. We buy in 5 states, and we buy trailer parks and apartment buildings, and so we just do a little bit of everything.
Awesome. So these guys are going to be brutal tonight, just like in the email I sent. All right. So our first speaker is Jared, and how do you say your last name?
Stokemeister.
Stokemeister. So I just in my phone it's Jared S. Jared's going to talk tonight, and what I'm going to have him do as I'm getting his mic going, give your 30-second bio, how long you've been investing, what you do, and then he's going to go 8 to 10 minutes. If the Sharks have a question, they can just turn their mic on and interrupt. But after he's done, it's going to be open to the Sharks asking questions. If you guys have questions, just raise your hand, I'll bring the mic to you. And all of the deals that we have going on tonight, these are legit deals. So if there's something that appeals to you, grab the speakers at the end of the night because they'll happily take your money.
All right, as you said, my name is Jared Stokemeister. I worked at Pepsi over here in Munster for about 12 years, 10 years in the warehouse, driving forklift, and then 2 years I went into management. And all the while Tom was picking at me a little bit to come and join with him with his company. And so after a while I jumped in. We did a lot of wholesaling, probably wholesaled a couple hundred deals working with Tom. And then over that course of that time, we transitioned into a lot of turnkeys and providing turnkey rentals to investors. And as Tom mentioned before, this is a great market for that. And so Joel, I see a couple people who bought from us in this room. And so it's been really exciting for me. And I also think it's interesting for investors. We measure the young investors, we measure our experience in halves. It's like 1.5 years, 2.5, 3.5. The other guys who've been here 30, they say 30, 40 years. So it's kind of interesting. But again, so my name is Jared. I work with Olson Group. And so we actually have 5 different companies under the umbrella of Olson Group. We have Olson Construction Management Services. They provide all the construction for all of our properties and do other construction stuff as well for other people. And we have Olson Property Services. This is a really exciting part of our company. We just started a property management company in-house about 9 months ago, and we already have over 70 doors. And it is awesome. Cheryl's our property manager. She kills it. I didn't mean to hit that button. Thank you. That was a tease. So, no, but she does a great job. We're expecting to have up to 150 properties by the end of this year. And so it's something we're really excited about. And if you guys have any questions about property management, we'd love to try to help you. And I can get you connected with Cheryl. Pacto Homes, brand new. Manny, where's Manny? I saw him. Manny. Manny here, he helps us with the Pacto Homes. It's one of our branches of our company, helps us acquire. And so mainly working with wholesalers and also with FSBO sellers. So actually the deal we're going to talk about today was one of our first Pacto Homes deals. So that's a Pacto Homes, and that is Greek for acquisition. That is cool, right? So anyway, Good Success. Good Success is our education arm of our company. And Tom, as he mentioned before, he moderates meetings. We have investors from all over the country who come in and want to learn more about investing and work together, and is a true mastermind. Everyone gets to do kind of what I'm doing. They present, and then we get to try to help them as they try to grow their business. These are full-time investors, much like many of you guys who have been doing it for a long time, and so we're trying to help them as they scale their business. And then the last part is Olson Group, which what I am doing, I work with the buy and sell portion. And so I work on help on the acquiring side and on the sell side, but also what's part of that is also lending. So I don't know if any of you guys are interested in lending opportunities, but we do that through that as well. So we're hoping to do about 120 projects this year. That's our goal. And so 120 projects, it's a lot of lending opportunities. So if you guys have some extra cash laying around, you want to get to work, this is one avenue for you to do that. So if you'd like some opportunities for property management, construction, education, or lending, you can definitely reach me. We can connect you guys with somebody. So moving along, again, Olson Group. This is a house we just acquired not too long ago, 6325 Kentucky Place, Maryville, not too far from here. And so really interesting. It touched 4 different parts of our company. We acquired it through a Pacto and through Olson Group with lending. So we found a lender outside, and they helped us with the lending portion of the property. Construction Management Services, OCMS, they did the project for us as far as the construction, and then now it's in property management, their seat, and they actually just rented it today, which is really cool. So now it is a full-blown turnkey rental property. So as of right now, we have it for sale at $112,500. $112,500. We see this after fair value about $115,000. What's that? Sell for more? Okay. Well, I did have it at $115,000, but I gave a discount just for you guys. So it's pretty exciting. Once we walk out that door, though, it's off the table. All right, so we got a ranch here, 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,300 plus square feet. No basement, which isn't all too bad. And Al likes basements, but not for rentals. It's okay. It's okay. 1950 build. Some more stats here. We have an attached 2-car garage. It's a good-sized acre fenced yard, city water, city sewer, which is also fantastic. Like I mentioned, we rent a day for $1,200. We talked about rent. That's good. $1,200. Taxes currently it's at $907. So at the end through the year, it'll be that low. The tax will be low, so you'll get a little bit extra cash flow throughout the year, and then we project the taxes turning in next year to be upwards to about $2,000. And so the cash flow at the projected number should be $380 plus, the cap rate 9%, and the cash over ROI at 20% plus. Questions? Sharks?
I have a question.
Their blood in the water.
Go back to your number page.
Which one?
The one with your, yes.
Yep.
How are you calculating your cash flow? What numbers are going into that? Because that will probably help the sharks determine if they like it or not.
Great question. We do take into account all the costs that go into, into that. So of course your purchase price, you're going to have your insurance. So a lot of that's with cap rate as well. But you're going to have your purchase price. You're going to have your insurance. You're going to have your, let's see here, federal management fee, and then what's the last one? Forgive me. Taxes, of course. And so, of course, that's why I mentioned there is a little bit extra cash flow here on the first side of the year, because we do project it to go up after next year, and many investors understand that. So So those are 4 things, and so we take, that's after all those costs, is after property management, taxes, insurance, etc. Good question. It's kind of your typical turnkey deal, is what we do. Now you guys, a lot of you guys are seeing 112.5, maybe you guys have your own deals, and you're thinking, holy cow. But a lot of investors outside this area would follow themselves for these deals. This is a typical deal, and 9% cap rate is actually pretty solid around the country. If you can travel around, this is a great number.
Now, do those numbers take into account any vacancy, any CapEx, all that sort of stuff?
Good question.
There's no breakdown on that.
Right. I do have pro formas. I don't have them with me today, but I can get you a pro forma that breaks down the information. The first year, most of our rehabs are very extensive. Most of our rehabs, the cost are anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 rehabs or more. And so we're gutting the entire thing most of the time. So with that, we don't have vacancies or maintenance in the first year. But after the first year, we do project and begin to have that built in the pro forma. So you'll see that that'll go up depending on the property and the situation. Tom, you want this one? You want to buy this?
Why didn't you bring the pro forma?
Great question. I'll give you guys an answer. Because Tom should know the answer because the internet was down. The internet was down at our office today. And so many of us worked from home. Thank you. This shark is such a nice shark because he understands. No, that was a situation I did. I actually had it in here and I deleted it. I was going to say go in the back to get a pro forma. But unfortunately, alas, no pro formas. But I can email them to you in color if you'd like to have them in color. I can do that.
So is that cash ROI, is that leveraged? Is that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yep. What kind of leverage, I mean, for people who don't know what leveraged cash ROI is, I gathered it just by looking at the numbers.
Of course. Normally our buyers are putting 30% down. We do have lenders, I don't know if you guys have lenders, I can connect you with lenders that do investor deals, and that's all they do. So a lot of times you can go to your local banks, but we connect you with investor deals. They're very creative, and they can help you with different things, and they're specific to you. And so we have several lenders that we recommend, and they give us a lot of priority just because we send them a lot of investors, so I can help you with that as well. Yes, sir.
Yes, the question was, what are the average terms and conditions of the loans?
I mean, it's really, it's a conventional loan. So if you're familiar, yeah, it's a Fannie Mae. Closing fees? It's actually pro forma. I can get you that number, that's a good question.
Can you move that stand a little bit? I have to go to K-Guy.
I agree. No, I understand. It's basically, I mean, these are the basic numbers, and honestly, it's a good question. But if you're going 20% down, it's pretty standard stuff with your lender. It's pretty basic. Well, depending on who you are and what you're doing, how many deals you're doing, the risk factor. Most of our avatar, though, to be honest with you, our avatar is high value people, high value, high earn, guys with high, what's the word?
High net worth.
High net worth. She should be standing here next to me, I appreciate it. So attorneys, dentists, doctors, guys who are typically have the availability of those funds, it's not really an issue for them. And so that's usually who we're looking for, but anyone, of course, can purchase.
Question. Okay, so on this slide you have cap rate 9%. How are you getting 9%? I'm assuming cash flow of 380.79 is per month.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're gonna multiply that by 12, which is going to get us 4,560 a year, right? Okay. So what is our purchase price and our NOI, and how are we getting to 9% for cap rate?
I did not major in math. I usually have a pro forma, and so I just enter the digits, and then he spits it out.
Your 308 is leveraged. If you didn't have it leveraged, you'd be saving a whole lot more money than that. So that's where you get your cap rate.
So then, okay, so then I guess the third question is, what is the NOI?
Good question. I mean, most of our guys don't buy it that way, and most of the time our investors Yeah, most of the investors who do purchase from us, they want to have as little of their own funds out as possible, and so out of pocket. And so normally on our performas, again, I apologize, it's not the best when you're presenting a deal not having information, but we also show out-of-pocket expense. And so we try to do that and keep that as low as possible so you guys can, or the investors can do as many deals as possible.
So for the new people, what are the first questions we should always ask if they're starting financing?
No. No. It's not usually an issue for us to have properties for too long. We usually get them pretty quickly in most cases, especially with these terms we can cash flow.
On the flip side though, so we do this for a living. Like we'll sell 60 to 80 of these houses a year. So I think you could also flip this upside down in your own mind. And I've had a lot of people tell me, why do I sell these? Why don't I just flip all these houses and make way more money today? I'm going to tell you why, because in the crash, these buyers will still be buying from me, and my business will keep going on, and all the fix and flippers won't be able to fix them. So like, for me, I'm going to make a little bit less money on some of these deals, but I'm going to continue. To me, it's more important to have the business long term and to have those buyers. These same buyers that are buying from me are also the people that are lending me money. So I mean, it's the same thing.
And what's also important about us is that we do create a lot of relationships with this. And I am not, by nature, a shark. I do handle sales, but I'm not a shark. I'm a relationship guy. So it's really important for me to be able to build a relationship with somebody, find out what they need, and try to provide that as time goes on. And so creating those long-term relationships will help you as you try to move on. And depending on whatever happens, you have a long-term relationship with somebody that in some form can work together as you both try to reach your goals.
How do you derive the sales price? Is that an appraisal?
Well, no, we sold hundreds of these. We do take all sold comps. We don't use pendings. We don't, I mean, of course, we're using sold comps. Generally, we try to stay within a quarter mile if possible. And so, like I said, in this case, 115 is about as high as we'll go without starting to get a little bit of meat for the buyer on the end there. So, but that's a good question.
I know the answer to this question. The question is, what class neighborhood?
I would say Maryville is probably like a C plus to B minus.
This area of Maryville, what
Right.
class would you say?
Right. I would say C plus, C plus to B minus.
Can you give the address? Was that?
Yes, sir. 6325 Kentucky Place. Yes, sir.
Is that well and septic or city water?
No, city water, city sewer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you go over the numbers a little bit just because if you down the numbers and you do 400 times 12 is 4,800, but 100,000 you're talking about 4.8%.
Okay, that's kind of what they were just talking about a while ago.
Now I see the logic. It would really be buried in the pro forma, is what the answer is. Because that was my initial reaction too, because I'm like, okay, if you have $4,500 a year for $112,000, you're less than 5%, you get 9. But what we're talking about, well, do you want to take that? Yeah, okay, so, but yeah, what they're talking about is the cash flow. Did I just scrub up? Okay, the cash flow that they're showing here, that is after leverage, okay? So it's not the correct information of the cap rate fund.
And one of the reasons why I didn't put the form on this sheet, on this, is because the information is so small. It's got tons of data on one sheet. And then everyone would be saying, hey, what does that say, what does that say? So, and again, it'd be convenient to have it for you, but I do apologize for that.
Can you go back to the picture where it shows the rent amount on that? Okay. Is that all the tenant's yard?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the backyard right here.
Yeah.
It's a really good sized yard.
I mean, as I look at that, I only look at what they're not going to cut, so I guess.
Well, that is something that again, that's on your property manager, so I would definitely communicate, that's something that they're supposed to be doing. That's part of your property management responsibilities there. So again, that's where finding someone you know, like, and trust that's going to be able to take care of you and is worried about you as a property manager. They're a steward for you, and so we do believe that, and that's sometimes as a property manager they do kind of listen to the kind of squeaky wheel type scenario, but in this case we do always try to look out for our investors. They're the ones who pay the bills. Yes, sir.
Tell me what kind of tenant you have in here and what the criteria was.
Well, of course, it's turnkey, it's straight rents. We used to do lots of lease option rent to own. That's a lot more difficult in this market. Now, 2 years ago, we'd have 50 people lined out the door to do it, but it's a straight 12-month lease.
As far as vetting we have in there now, what criteria?
Well, we have a Buildium, we use Buildium, and also another program, Rently. So a lot of the all that is up front before they even get a chance to get in the door, which is really convenient. So we're getting those people out. Of course, we have minimum credit scores. It's got to be 600.
Requirements?
Yes. Yep.
3X, 4X?
Yes. Absolutely.
Another question. Okay, so because this was kind of like a flip that you guys did, or did you put any work into it?
We did put some.
Okay. All right. So from completion, how long did it take to find a quality?
This was a lot of lipstick. This was really quick.
No, forget the lipstick. I'm talking about how long did it take?
Oh, it's great.
At $1,200 a month, how long did it take you to find a tenant?
Oh, it was a week. We have, and this market is crazy. I was just talking to tell you about the time frame. For a C plus. Now, what I would say is it does tend to determine upon your rehabs. So if you're looking at the very top of your the rent in that area, if it's garbage or rent ready type something, you're not going to get that. But in most cases, you should be able to get really good rent. And most of the time, we're scraping the ceiling of what we're trying to do in our market.
Our average days on market for rentals is 7 days.
Right.
If your property manager is taking more than 14 days, you should get a new one.
Unless it's here.
It's 10%, and that's already built in there. Yes. And the other thing is a good property manager. What we're finding is that our people, they see our product, much like Al talks about this product, preferred homes, right? Your product, people want your stuff. Same thing goes for our product and our turnkeys. What ends up happening is when people find out a house got rented, now they ain't got anything else. Where else can I go? So again, having a pool like that is really valuable when you have to maybe re-rent. And so now we're able to send people to your property when it's time. Yes, sir.
Right, so the first year doesn't have a maintenance aspect.
Right.
What's major mechanical? What furnace, how long?
Good question. A lot of times when we go through our process, again, a lot of national turnkey providers, everything's brand new, every time. And inevitably, who pays for that? It's the end investor. It's not them. They're not going to pay for it. So we do try to be careful and say, hey, if a furnace is 5 years old, that's not why replace that? That doesn't make any sense. If it has some life on it now, in this case, all the mechanicals are about 10 years or younger. So it's really solid. So we didn't see any need to replace anything like that. But each individual item is gone through and inspected, and we determine there if it needs to be replaced or not. That's a good question.
So if take Tom out of this equation, I don't want Tom's answer because I already know his answer. So I'm interested in buying this property, and so you sell it to me, but you need to sell me because everything I look up, it says the value's under 100,000, so why am I going to pay you 115?
Why are you going to pay me 115? Well, where are you looking up your information? Where are you seeing it's worth 100? Everywhere. Yeah, I would tell you right away, Zillow. Do not look at Zillow. I would just say recommend. Now, it's really good for an initial source. It gives you an idea. But if you're going to look at Zillow as your main source, I would really be careful for that. Again, our information is based off of sold comps. Because in the end, what we need to do at the end of this, it's got to appraise. It's got. No, I'm not. I'm saying. Yes, sir. No, I'm saying it's really important for. You asked me a question. I'm giving an answer. It's really important for us to appraise. That's the most important part of this. We can do a bunch of work. We can create a bunch of relationships. But if the house doesn't appraise at the end, it doesn't mean anything. The deal can fall apart. And so every single deal we go through, this is important. Every single deal, active turnkey, what's one option we have, and turnkey, they have to appraise. And so we go through this, and it's painstaking. But in this case, we believe, according to the sold comps, within a quarter to half mile, 115 is a solid. I'm sorry? Yes, sir.
But you haven't had it appraised?
No, sir.
So you don't know the price of it?
Well, that's another good question. We do have a process when we go through appraisals. Al talked about that extensively last meeting. What often happens is we do kind of a little bit of step ahead. He mentioned that once an appraisals go through, he'll send them a scope of work. We do that right away. We do a lot of things. In fact, some appraisers don't always like it. We have an appraiser in the room. But we will send him information as far as the scope of work right away. We'll give him actually comps, sold comps. and we'll tell him, based upon these numbers, we believe the value to be this. And what we find is appraisers can be fickle at times. And if you just go around, you'll see that whatever, and I'll give you guys an example. Back when we were wholesaling, you'll find that whatever a house was listed for on the MLS, and if we did not, they had the appraiser before we wholesaled the deal, we would see that inevitably it would appraise at the MLS list price. Okay? But once we closed on the deal, we had a situation where a guy was using hard money, we closed on the deal, take a wild guess what it appraised for, what we bought it for. Same scenario, why the appraisers, they tend to go with the information, so that's what we do, we lead them and we give them information, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. It's unbelievable how inevitably this house will appraise for 115. But it's because we do, we're out in front of that situation, we do give them information. It's very important for us, we have to have these appraised. It's a big deal for us.
What if it doesn't?
If it does, that's something we can work on. But that's usually not an issue. Now, appraisers are, sometimes maybe we are wrong. We're not a perfect company. We wouldn't pretend to do that. We just say that we are. We do strive for excellence, but we're not going to pretend that we're perfect. But that being said, we do work with that. And in most cases, we believe that it's within a couple grand. It's still a pretty solid appraisal.
Why should somebody pay you 98% of ARV?
Good question. There's no risk in this situation. That's number one. No risk at all. It depends on who you are. Like for you, maybe you shouldn't. But an average guy out there who has a full-time job, who doesn't have time to go out and look for deals, it may be really difficult for them to find this deal, to go in there, buy it at a right price, do the rehab, get it rented, and have it properly managed. And they just don't have time for that. So in this case, those people, to limit that risk, they're more than happy to do that.
Awesome. And so how many turnkeys do you guys sell a year? Like, is this something new? Because I know that there's quite a few companies listed here. Some of these companies were fairly fresh. So how familiar with the turnkey operation are you guys, and how many have you done so far?
As some of you are aware, Tom and Wayne Schaefer were partners, and we sold a few hundred turnkeys there. And since then we've sold, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 since we became a company when I came to work with Tom. So it is a lot of experience. So a lot of our numbers, that's a good question. You've been asking questions, how do you determine this? A lot of it's based on experience. We know what things will go. Maybe rent is another natural question. How do you determine rent? That's a great question. So a lot of times, based upon experience, if you go to Zillow, you may see 1,200, which is not bad. But we don't want to leave anything on the table either. So based upon our experience, we'll know that right now Hammond is one of the hottest. It's the hottest town in our area, so we know we can push that even higher, and we can scrape that number. So again, that comes with experience. But again, that's just kind of what we're doing. So thank you for the question. Yes, sir.
Answer, what percentage of sales are out-of-state investors?
A good portion. Like I said, there are a few guys in here also.
90%?
That would be a fair number. Yes, sir.
I know some people are kind of maybe beating you up a little bit on the value and or quoting Zillow and whatnot, but I did a huge study of Zillow probably about a year ago from a national perspective and worked with some people at Zillow as we were getting ready to do a contract with them. And I don't know if anyone knows the actual numbers for the Chicagoland market, the accuracy of estimates. Does anyone here know?
No.
No? Okay. So if you go to Zillow's website, and you can verify this today, within about 85.3% of the time, they're within 20% of accuracy. That means almost 15% of the time, they're more than 20% off. Just to give you guys an idea here, so if you're trying to use a Zestimate to put a fair value, I think Jared's bringing up some great points today as far as what are properties actually selling for? What is the fair market value? Now, they already get that. What is the fair market value of these properties pushing right now? Because when you're talking 15% of the time, they're off by more than 20%. That's also why they have multi-million-dollar challenges out there for web IT people to figure out a better algorithm to try to solve that problem. So
40% lower.
20% variable. So and it's a 4.6%. Well, let's just put it like this. A lot of times I've seen it not go the right way. So
20% is a big deal.
It is.
Well,
Well, yeah. So again, I mean, guys, just so you know, and I'm not trying to bash Zillow around there, but the numbers are out there. If you go look it up, you can go straight to Zestimate on their websites. look up the data and we'll show you that.
The
So,
big challenge right now is the market's changing so fast, houses are
Exactly.
appreciating, Zillow just can't keep up.
right.
So, if you look at this house on Zillow, it may say, what did it, 99? But I guarantee you there's sold comps in Maryville in this area that are at that price that they're putting out at. So in a nutshell, we have a 3-bed, 1-bath ranch in Maryville, rented at $1,200 a month. Asking price is $112,500. Leverage 20% down plus some closing costs. You probably have about $25,000 cash out of pocket, and that will get you a 20% return, about $4,500 a year in annual cash flow. So if that's something that appeals to you, grab Jared after the meeting, but let's give him a round of applause for braving everybody.
If I want to buy this house, do I have to go through Jared?
Absolutely you do.
Then I'll
That's the process, I'm sorry.
I bet he has a really good seller financing deal. So, and when that question was asked, you gave the wrong answer. The proper answer is, it depends. All right. To you real quick. This guy thought he was going to a funeral. He looks sharp. Can you talk?
Hello? Hello.
Becky, can you hear him okay? Perfect. We won't say anything about him not doing a PowerPoint. You can't move it. Alright, you're just gonna have to 2 fingers will get you up. All right, quick intro and then jump into your deal.
Hello guys, my name is Anthony Spangler. I'm with Legacy Mulder, commercial real estate, construction. We're a local firm. We do a lot in the south suburbs, Northwest Indiana. We're a major contractor, buyer too, office space, retail. We're looking for multifamily, bigger stuff in the area. I am a broker, so
Hey Anthony, can you go in, I guess, yeah, right there,
Better?
perfect. That way you can be in the video.
Yeah, sorry. I am a broker, so I am exclusively listing this, and it just actually went on the MLS today, so get it when you can. With Legacy Mulder, right now we have over $50 million in multifamily property listed on the market. Whether it's actually, take that back, about half is on the market, half is in pocket deals. We have complexes, we have 6 flats, we have single family home packages, South Bend, Chicago, Northwest Indiana, kind of whatever, Hammond right now too. This deal is actually one of my first deals in Hammond that we got. It's a 6-unit. It is off of 169th Street and Monroe Street. All the roads have been improved in the area, so there's new sidewalks, new curbs. Most of Hammond properties are landlocked with parking. So the city, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys deal with Hammond directly, but they're, you know, I know they've been a pain in the ass for a lot of people nowadays. But they are trying to demo a lot of the four-unit buildings with no parking. If you go out of code, a lot of people are selling houses that are converted into multifamily properties, so do not buy one in Hammond because they will stop you on it, make you either reconvert it or. So when you get a solid property in Hammond with a lot of parking, it's got parking in the front, parking in the back. I think it's a good deal any way you go. So what else we got here? There's a small backyard, which is nice for apartments in that area. A lot of people don't have that. Hammond has a lot of many municipal, industrial, and commercial projects going on. They're building parks. They're building a major soccer center down the street. If you live there, you go to Purdue for free, which I was a graduate of Purdue recently too. so this is special property for me. What else we got? Obviously, it's close to I-80. You can get to Chicago really quick. It's off of Calumet Avenue. It's probably the closest major. People are pouring from Southeast Cook over to Northwest Indiana. As far as you guys know, I'm a Lansing resident originally. I live in St. John now, so I'm very aware of the fiscal policies of Illinois. Our company deals, directly with towns on development projects, and so we see a huge demand in Northwest Indiana. I have people in Illinois, Chicago, begging me for anything I can get in Lake County, Port County, whatever county, Jasper County. I don't even know if there's apartments down there. I'll go to the next slide here, sorry. Oh, also, 50% is a renter occupied, which is probably the largest in Indiana for sure. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but just know it's a heavy renter market. So this building has been occupied for pretty much fully occupied. Some of the tenants are 10 to 15 years that they've been there. And there's close to 100,000 people there, and they have a casino, so they get $60 million a year to spend on parks, stuff like that. Okay, investment overview. Sales price $325,000. Oh, did you guys not get a hard copy of this? Sorry.
I am Dutch, and it was like 35 pages,
Yeah, I was
times 4 people. I didn't want to print it out, sorry.
It's alright. Legacy Molder, so that's, Number of units, 6. Price per unit, $54,000. Year built, 1960. Most of the multifamily in Hammond was built in those areas. There's a few new projects, though, that have been built. Cap rate, 8.5. Building square feet, 5,000. Sales highlights. Value add opportunity. A lot of brokers like to say that. Value add, value add. What does that mean? This means that, first and foremost, your rents are below market. We're marketing a couple of different projects in Hammond. One bedrooms can easily rent for $850 if you do the right things to it, get the right tenants. If you use a high quality property manager or a leasing company, which I'm sure most of you guys don't know. Yes.
We're beating you up already.
Don't worry, I'll go to the rent comps. Major economic growth in Hammond. Okay, we got major as a $40 million data center that's being built on the lake. There's a Lear company is building a facility on Michigan and Calumet. So there's going to be 700 jobs coming to the town. I can go on and on for that. Walking distance from schools and parks, that's probably the biggest deal for a renter, especially multifamily. A lot of, most of the time you're going to get single mothers. That's probably honestly the best market. So. Additional photos. I'm not going to talk here, so I can scroll through. Looks great, right? Beautiful.
Okay. Anthony, a couple questions. Number one, what's the unit mix on these? Are these all?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Sorry. Let me just. A couple more photos. Boilers have been replaced within the past 5 years, which is huge. Tenants pay gas and electric, so all you pay is water. Location information. Here's a quick look. We saw a building recently traded here on the South Shore for $100,000 per unit, listed with Kaiser Group. They're probably one of the biggest brokers in the city right now. There's also 25,000 new apartments that came to market in Chicago. So you can imagine where people are looking. Southeast Cook, Northwest Indiana. That's really the only place you can find deals anymore. Most of the per door costs in the north suburbs, the western suburbs, Hinsdale area are $100,000 plus anywhere. So, and we're at the top of the market, as you guys know. We're at a 10-year bull run right now, so pricey. Not too many, retail things going on in this neighborhood specifically, but you are off Calumet, easy access to the highway. Here's the school. It's a newer school. I think it's built in like 1990 maybe, so it's not. Hammond's also, going to be fixing their high schools. I'm sure you guys have heard of the referendum coming up to host here. There's also a new development up here, which I couldn't fit. There's a small picture, you can't really see it, but It's on the corner of Monroe and 169th. We know these owners here. They keep up their property very well. We've been working with them for about a year now on other deals.
Are you the white one or the one that faces?
This is I forgot the name of this roof, but this is a sealant roof that was placed. Corellis Roofing, I think might have done it out of Hammond. These guys did the same thing. This is a Google Maps picture. So this is actually a white roof too.
Yours is the one in the middle.
Mine is right there. It's a 6-unit, 2 different owners. And then this is a 25-unit right here.
Full disclosure, I actually saw this property. But yeah, full disclosure, just so. But one of the other questions that I had was, so the current landlord and the neighbor kind of do some splitting. Can you go into any of that?
Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, I'll read that. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, get there.
And the parking situation, is there like an actual formal agreement? Because it kind of sounded like they just kind of, this side of the parking lot.
It ends up being two spots per unit, so.
2 spots per unit. Okay.
Can't really see a big, huge problem.
Okay, so they don't do any, between him and the neighbor, they don't share any parking at all? Or?
They share the back lot, and then there's 6 spots in front, 6 in the back, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
A little bit of info on Hammond, but I'll skip that at this point. This is probably the biggest deal. This is actually an outdated number as well. Average household value, as you guys know. My parents actually just closed on a house in St. John, a 1,600-foot slab for almost $250. So that had to have broke the record in the area. Prices are up, so you got to get it while you can, like I said. Hammond is also a great market. I know you guys have probably been buying houses in Hammond for 20 grand at the tax sale. Nowadays you can't really touch anything for 40, 50, from what I hear. Not had too many tax sales though. Financials. Okay, we'll start at the top here. Cap rate 8.6. I'd say that's pretty market price for Hammond. And like I said, this is a below market building. So you can't see this anyway. You could just pretty much omit other income and vacancy costs. Just had to do something to cancel that out. It is fully occupied right now. Gross income is $42,480. So total operating expenses. This is off the owner's tax returns. So he operates it pretty well. He's from out of the country, owned it for over 20 years.
How does he run it pretty well if it's running below market?
Below market rent. So
he doesn't run it pretty well then?
I mean, it depends on what kind of owner you are. I mean, do you want to have tenants for 15 years? Do you want to have tenants every 3 years?
I want tenants that stay and pay a lot of money.
This is a big number here, pre-tax cash flow, after tax. Take off 35% of that.
What are those numbers? Because we can't see those.
That's the next slide, sir. That's coming up next. Yeah, right? And I will show some rental comps next couple pages. Financing. This is a 75 to 25 debt ratio here at a 4.75 interest rate. It's a little, you might not be able to get that as of today. 6 months ago, absolutely. We work with a lot of different lenders. South side, you could still get sub-5 interest rates if you're in South Chicago, but some people don't want to be in that market. Hammond, I'd say it's a somewhat similar market, depending on the lower income. A lot of people can find debt at that good of price. Any questions?
So the parking lot is a handshake deal. Do we use the snow maintenance? Who insures that property?
The snow is taken care of by each separate owner.
So who insures it?
I'm not sure who his company is. Probably.
Not just snow removal. Somebody slips and falls on their property. Who are they gonna? Whose insurance company are they?
He has full coverage on his properties. The owner, but you both do.
So basically, I mean, you have to have something in clarity.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 different tax IDs, so I guess I really can't answer that
What side of the
question.
parking lot do you slip on? Do I see you, and what side of the parking lot do I slip on?
I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, to be honest, so. I mean, there's a lot of properties. There's a lot of common areas, yeah. couldn't tell you. Yeah, there you go.
If you look at the GIS, 6 of the spots are on one lot and the other 6 are on the other lot, so it just depends on where they fall, I guess.
Take that up with the, State Farm.
Deeded half the other lot if you purchase this, that vacant lot, is that deeded?
Vacant lot?
Well, the parking.
I mean, you share common elements. That's as far as,
Well, it's
But who owns it? Who owns that lot?
I mean, I could, I don't have the parcel. I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, I can't answer that
What I'm saying
question.
is, the parking lot is bisected by 2 separate parcels. One has 6
Yes.
on this side and one has 6 on this
Yes.
side. But because it's one parking lot, if I live over here and there's a vacant space over here, it's okay that I park there.
Yeah, I would assume. Honestly,
So it's not side parking?
I can't answer that question. I honestly don't know the answer to that. But,
Does debt service include taxes and insurance?
does the debt service include taxes and insurance?
Yeah. Is that going to be your payment?
I'll get to the next slide here. You can kind of see those ones.
Question before you change.
But,
You're doing a zero vacancy assumption?
yes.
What if you want to repave it? In the future, and it gets bad, is he going to pitch in and help repave it? Do you see a lot?
Honestly, I'll just tell you, this property specifically is owned by a gentleman that's owned, the neighbor is a large company that's very sophisticated and they're good people, and so I could say they work with you directly. It's not some bozo. And that's just the risk you take when you're buying a 6 flat and it's stacked to a 6 flat. I mean, I work in parts of South the south suburbs, and it's 36 flats in a row, and they all share common elements. And it's not the best deal sometimes, but for certain people, they want they want 20 units here, but sometimes you got to get them spread out. So,
On the on the financial, it says other income. Does he? I can't remember. Is there a laundry facility? Does he have one operating?
No.
He does not. Okay. And also, I'd like to apologize for bringing up the parking at all.
no, that's
for somebody. Who's
I've
not,
seen deals killed. We had a deal killed in Lansing because of that.
I'm sure it's. I'm sure it's.
A very large one with a large commission. Good.
It's a huge deal, especially Silicon Falls. My wife managed a lot of property in
Yeah.
this block. And that's
No, I
a huge,
understand.
huge deal.
Especially when you started saying how valuable the parking was at Hammond.
Yeah, I mean, the city's, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'll let you share. If you guys do what kind of The city's not being friendly to single family homeowners from my feedback from everybody that I network with around here. And I was just pretty much saying that this is a real multifamily zone property, and this is not some 5,000 square foot single family home, which I've seen on the market, that's converted. And then as soon as it goes through and your building guy comes in, he's gonna say, sorry.
You can definitely get more money out of the rent, that's obvious.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll get to that. So I have market rent here at $750, which I think is pretty fair.
That's about right.
These are all 2 bedrooms?
These are 1 bedrooms.
Ones.
So
Yeah.
single parents looking to stay around with their kids, usually the best tenant. Yes, they are large. It's all market tenants. There's no section.
If you're grossing 42, that means you're getting 600 in rent, and 750 is market, so you're going to keep all those tenants raising the rent $150.
If you're a good property manager, yeah, you should be able to do that.
I'm not saying you can't do it. This is Hammond.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think 3 of the tenants have been there for over 10 years. I think I don't know if you went in there, but they have paintings and like really nice art everywhere, so they say they've been there for years. 590 is a good deal for anybody, especially in Hammond, South Hammond. Go ahead. Good question. I didn't ask that. Don't want to answer. Yeah, probably just some minor work, tuck pointing. Oh. I didn't hear anything about that. I don't think that they added a top floor. I mean, it was built like that, so I think they just did some work. Maybe replaced some bricks. Maybe lightning struck it or something like that. Go ahead, sir, man. The roof, that's probably the one capital expense that you'd have to do within the next 5 to 10 years.
When was it?
The owner got it new, so 15 plus years. It's slightly pitched roof, it's not a flat roof, so it is a, you know, I think you call it, was it Mansard, have 1960 typical pitched roof, that's really like it. Corrales can probably do a good deal for you.
You mentioned that there is no laundry income. Do they have laundry in the units, or is there a place in the basement where you could have laundry?
Yes, definitely. There is room in the basement to have laundry. There's a space. You could even do a stackable laundry unit. There's a closet with some ample space. I've seen that in a lot of our South Suburban properties we work on. It's like a small storage basement. It's used for the owner. It's not used for the tenants. It's like a more closet than a store.
That's where you put the stackables?
Yeah. Excuse me?
That's where you're saying you could put stackables?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Even in the units. Which I've seen.
Access to that?
You mean for your HVAC to
You know how many
pipe it in?
for laundry, you would put laundry on how
Yeah, you just walk downstairs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's outside of it.
Yeah,
The one
yeah.
underneath the staircase?
Yeah, basically, yes.
That's you can put them on.
Okay, sorry. Moving on.
So before you move on,
Go ahead. Sorry.
how much additional work needs to be done? Because you at the beginning said with some improvements, the rent can be
Yeah.
increased. So you're jumping from 590 to 750. In your estimation as an investor, how much more am I going to need to spend per unit to get that increase in your rent?
As far as, so are you asking about unit makeover, or are you asking about capital expenses to the structure?
According to your information, you're indicating that market rents could be increased, but in the beginning of your presentation, you said with some improvements. So talk about how much I could anticipate to spend per unit to be able to jump up from that price point.
Paint, maybe a countertop, maybe a new microwave, new stove. I'd say under, full rehab, what would you estimate, 25,000 for an 800 square foot? I would say 5,000 or less. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and this is Hammond, South Hammond. I don't really think the tenant base is an extreme need for granite countertops or anything like that. If you're in the western suburbs of Illinois or Frankfurt area, you could definitely get 1,300 for a rehab, which we've done. We've seen our clients do.
Is that a FlexiCore building, or is that stick built, or what is it? I mean, obviously I see the brick facade.
Yeah, it's a full brick exterior. I think it is FlexiCore. The stairwells are steel as well. The stairwells are not wood, which is huge. So there's no creaking. It's a solid poured concrete stairs with metal, with steel frames. Okay, moving on.
Are all appliances,
They all work. Yeah, they're all owner owned, and they work. Yeah, they work. That's some of them, basic turnover, basic.
Take a picture of like 1960.
The picture I took? No, that was from my camera a couple weeks ago.
No,
Oh, yeah. It's an old one. It's an old one.
Is it four stair?
yeah.
4 stair? Sorry.
It's individual.
Yeah, everything is metered. It's a NIPSCO individual, and
But it's a boilerplate, the heat works there.
I don't think there is a toilet. I think there was
But you said the boiler-
No, you said there were water heaters in each unit.
yeah, sorry, I probably meant hot water. I say that a lot.
But how does it, is there air conditioner on all unit, or is it, four stair?
It's outside.
Man, that's a good question. I can't remember.
You're the broker.
I can't remember, honestly.
They don't have
It's a great question. I don't
to put
remember.
in later.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the financials.
Okay,
So we
there
can
you
beat them up on that.
Rent roll. Quick look. Rent roll. You see the change in total income? Sales comps. So I don't have any 6 unit.
Go back to the financials.
Which one?
The actuals and pro formas.
So I'll talk a little about this.
For those explain what a pro forma is for those
Yeah.
who don't know.
Like
what it actually is, like how
what
you-
it actually is?
Yeah, not like
It's an idea.
yeah.
It's an idea.
It's a dream.
It's a dream, for sure. But this dream is not too far off. I mean, We're not asking for $1,000 rent, we're at $750, which is fair market.
Where'd you come up with taxes?
From his income statements that he filed.
Those are wrong.
That's what I
Well,
was going to say.
It was,
Yeah.
the actual is 500 off last year and it's 1,500 off this year. So the taxes are already $1,500 more.
Well, I think he, honestly,
We
he
need
must be
sound
65
effects.
or over.
Before the referendum, right?
He must be an older
the
gentleman. He's an
1500.
older gentleman, I think he gets a discount. It's not
What did you say?
homestead. I think he's a senior citizen, so I think he gets a slight discount.
You ain't getting no discounts as a landlord, buddy.
Well, either way, Lake County's capped at 3%, so max this could go up to $9,000, and you're still looking at pretty much the same cap rate.
Well, you're not looking at the same NOI though. You change 1,500 in
Yeah.
taxes, that changes a lot.
Yeah, and usually what happens is the tenants end up paying for it, and you raise the rents.
And that cap is only against the value of the property, not including any referendums, because that have to go above the cap.
You mean the taxes, like for
Like if
the
the
city?
referendum is
Yeah.
passed, that will be, that could go above the 3%.
Currently, they're 75-20 a year, that doesn't include this year's, but it's also gonna go up again next year. My question is, you know, it's the broker's job to paint the best picture of this property possible, right? So we all know those numbers are BS. They are, right? I mean, that's fine, that's why you gotta underwrite the deal, but, you know, in a pro forma, if the taxes are 7,500 currently, they might be 8,500 next year. Because they're gonna go up, and currently it's assessed at 203,000. You go and pay 325 for it, rest assured, the assessor's looking at the value, they're gonna pay 2% of that extra 100,000 plus whatever the referendum. So those taxes may be 9,700, you know, so that's gonna affect it. Not to be,
No,
I
that's fine.
mean, it's a broker's job to get as much as you can. I mean, you gotta underwrite these deals to make sure they make sense.
Did you come up with the price based on the numbers, or did the owner came with? I mean, what drives the 325 on that building?
Just cap rate pretty much.
Well, NOI account.
NOI.
Explain the formula.
Yeah, so you divide your, yeah, I mean, everybody knows what cap rate is.
Not everybody, so.
Oh, okay, sorry. So you take your NOI, which is right here, your net income after expenses, and so let's say River North downtown is trading right now at around a 4 cap. New York City, there's brokers I know that their nicknames are Joey 1 cap, because there's deals out there that are $1 million a unit. So we work with a lot of people out of New York, out of San Diego, a lot of different, most of our clients are the institutional groups that are buying, that love the Midwest. And I know a lot of people that go to the NICA that are from out of state, that are coming to the Midwest looking for better yield. So I guess the assessed value, you know, might be a little bit lower. The neighbor is building appraised for much higher than $200,000, and they showed me that. So we, you know, had a couple verbal offers on the table already when it was off market. So
my cash offer of 200 isn't gonna go right now?
No, not yet, at least.
Another
Go ahead,
question,
go
and, you know, you're a nice guy, I feel bad you getting involved.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But, okay, so, on the sales count summary, which is like,
Next
page
page.
19, yeah, something like that. So, the one concern that some investors that, you know, I mean, you know, if I'm in the multifamily space, so I can understand a little bit of what the value might be. But one thing that I would caution or question is, looking at the number of units here, you have the comps as 4 residential properties, in my opinion, because I'm a commercial guy.
A 4 unit is considered a multifamily, you know.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not the right.
It's, you know, duplexes and stuff like that can trade very differently per door than yeah. So was there anything available? I know they don't go up for sale very often, but was there anything in recent, you know, in the last couple of months that's sold that was actually 5+ in the area that you're aware of, or just no comps?
50,000 per door. Very close. We know a couple people that are very close to that. So.
I was just curious.
I mean, the owner, no, that has been sold.
Number 4, that's been on the market.
That's not even sold now.
Just to, you know, show you the market.
It says that it's
demand.
on market.
I mean, I just saw a house sell in Hammond down the street for like 150 grand. And I'm like, you know, and there's a limited supply of multifamily, so, you know. Yeah, the comps are tough.
So you're comparing 2 units with
Basically. My assistant did this. Best comps I can get, I mean, that's what it is.
You said it wasn't very much 6 units.
I mean, we're selling a large property in Hammond for well over that. So obviously it's a different property. So a large complex.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen like an OM like this, you know, I mean, this is pretty typical. That's why when you're underwriting these, you don't believe anything, nothing on these. Not to say, I mean, I don't think a 1-bedroom's ever bringing 850, but 750 is probably reasonable. But the broker's always going to paint the best picture. So when you look at these, you really got to underwrite them.
Sales comp, man, okay.
Yeah,
Bad
I
deal.
mean, at the end of the day, it's a good deal. It just depends on your investing strategy. Is it going to hit the same rates? You know, no, right now.
Is there like a rule of thumb, you apply like a haircut, and you go down to like a 20% haircut?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at expenses, I know they're only going up, right? Like, so if I'm going to look at what I think, and I'm just going to generalize here, right? So if I'm going to look at multifamily, something that's 5 units or more, because 2 to 4 is not multifamily.
I think 4 is.
I'm going to argue with that because you might buy a gross rent multiplier.
A 4 flat in Chicago is not multifamily?
But
No.
you can't keep comparing us to Chicago because we're not.
Yeah. They're not. I
It's
mean,
coming though, the prices, tax, everything's coming.
4 units and less is not
Why
multifamily.
don't you just
You gotta go to Porter County, you gotta
go to
go to.
subdivision in Highland and just, not Highland, in Highland and just.
Yeah, and I know the owner across the street, and it needed, whoever bought it, I think it needs more renovation, the whole
I
thing.
mean, on a building on this age, I mean,
And that was 50, it was on market for 50, the same price.
I mean, just to make it clear, somebody's gonna buy this deal, right? Well, I'm not saying it's a terrible deal. We're here to pick it apart because that's what we're here for. We're greedy, we're sharks, right? Like,
Well, we're here to educate.
we don't want to buy a marginal deal, but on a deal like this, I might say that what the actual NOI is, just for a rough rule, is 50% of gross, right? Because that's just a general rule. And the older it is, the more units you have, it's probably closer to that. But if the numbers work at 50%, I mean, that's probably what it sounds like Jeremy is pretty much the same. If your NOI is way higher than 50%, then I start to ask myself what's missing, right? Like, is it management? Is it vacancy? Is it what's
Which I
taken
did
into
add.
account?
I did add 6% management fee.
Because like he said, it needs a roof, right? But you don't see a capital expenditure line item there. Now the bank, when you go to get a multifamily loan, they're going to look at that. And they're going to make you, escrow it.
But CapEx is below NOI.
Depends on how you evaluate it. But yeah, I don't disagree with them. But
It's a tight deal.
my question is, will Fannie or Freddie?
It's a tight deal, but.
No, it's not a bad deal. Somebody's going to buy this. He's going to sell it. It's not going to be
I mean,
around.
I'm selling buildings for 100K a door just across the border, and it's coming this way. You know why I can't.
Somebody in California getting 1% returns is going to love this deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether the numbers are right or wrong, but do you think Fannie or Freddie would do a 5% loan on this with a flat roof?
Is he here? What's his name? Yeah.
Even on a small balance loan, they won't?
I mean, I think we had People's Bank look at it, so they can take it down at that price. It's about, yeah, that's more like 10 or 3 to 10 million, quarter 100. Good? Yeah.
Alright, so
Rank times?
I'm gonna tell you how this deal will work. So.
Seller finance.
No.
Go this way.
One money down.
If I were to buy this, I would be looking at 2 different things, and they're completely opposite of what he just sold you. So I would go and make them executive suites. Because the only people, in my opinion, that I would want in there are like single guys that live in Chicago, that work in Chicago. And I would be thinking $900 a month for rent, and I would deck them out. Or I would be thinking, and I know this is going to sound weird or funny, but vacation rentals or short-term rentals. So
workforce housing,
people that come
housing.
in that go to the hospital, they need to come in. I got a lady that she's gonna stay in one of my places for 13 weeks, and she's gonna pay like $2,600 a month for a 3-bedroom house. How many would like to get $2,600 a month for a 3-bedroom house? So that's how, for me, this would work. I would never pay that much in Hammond right now for one bedrooms. I see what you're saying, but it could work if you think of it in a completely different way.
Why would somebody pay $900 a month with a Hammond Chicago when they could live in Chicago?
I mean, okay, so Chicago, like I said, there's 25,000 new apartments that came to market. It's unbelievable, the debt in the whole nation off of these apartments, new construction. I mean, a studio anywhere decent is like $2,000. So, I mean, that's just, you can't really compare that. I'm selling properties in Logan Square,
I don't see nice
Canary
places
Hill.
for $900 a month.
What's that?
Well, yeah.
Nice places in Chicago for $900. I mean, I know a girl that 10 years ago spent $600 and had like a tumble.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, my sister, I think, my sister lives in Bridgeport, and she has the best deal. She pays $800 for a 2-bedroom, and that's the best deal I've ever seen. Yeah, exactly, and she's right off, it's 28th and Wells, so real easy. It's pretty much Chinatown, but it's a safe neighborhood. They take it.
All right, if you like this deal or have more questions, this PDF that we have, I can get that emailed to you. So just email me at group@investnwi. We'll email that to you. Anthony will hang around after. You can ask him some questions, but let's give him a round of applause. He's not the owner, so you know you're asking a lot of questions that unless he specifically asked the owner that, or the owner told him, he doesn't always know. So he did a great job trying to pitch someone else's deal, essentially. So, all right, as we are getting the next one loaded, if you want to go grab some drinks, bathroom. I think all the pizza's gone. I think next month we're gonna have to go to like 10 pizzas. All right, we're doing this one, right? Okay, cool.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yep.
How you doing?
How are all your records doing?
All right, we have. All right, 30-second break is over. Alright, let's grab a seat. Let's get the sharks back.
I do everything. It's part of mine. I'm running out of time.
All right, let's bring it back in there. So we had a turnkey property, we had a multifamily property. This is a wholesale deal. And I'll let you give your 30-second intro name, what you primarily do, how long you've been doing it, and then you can start talking about your deal.
Hello, everybody. My name is Antoine Brown from 50 Homes. I've been in real estate for 10 months now. I decided that I was going to start off wholesaling first and then eventually build up my capital and venture off into rehab. The property I'm talking about today is 3794 Van Buren Street in Gary, Indiana. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath with a basement, built in 1961. Square foot, 946 feet. I got this deal off one of my direct mail campaigns. So some of the sold comps in the area. First house was sold in November of last year for $21,000. The middle house, 4128 Jackson Street, was sold for $17,000 in June last year. 3439 Connecticut Street was sold for $20,000 July of last year. Here are some of the comparable rental properties, comparable rentals. The subject property is down at the bottom. This is some of the rents that are going for around the actual property. Some of the repairs that need to be done for the house. On one side of the garage, the siding needs to be replaced because there was a fire nearby next to the house that the siding melted away. 2 windows need to be replaced. Furnace and water heater are 2 years old. Our roof is 6 years old. Here's the rental analyzer. There is a tenant in the house currently. I asked the tenant to be removed from the house because right now they're paying $600 a month for rent and they're not paying any next door or electricity in the house. So I said you can boost that rent up to at least $750 to $800. I got the estimated vacancy rate from 5%, maintenance cost 10%, management fee 12%. I'm asking $20,000 for the house. Got the property tax about $679, insurance annually $800. The cap rate 34.85, return on investment 95. Here's some of the summary of the rental analyzer also. Here's some of the pictures on the inside. Here's the living room. I guess you can use that as another extra room. Kitchen, bathroom. Then we got the basement area. Like I said, the furnace is 2 years old and a water heater. Then you got an actual base, another bedroom towards the back. 2-car garage. That is it. That's the end. Any questions?
2 bedrooms upstairs?
2 bedrooms upstairs.
Is the bedroom in the basement a legal bedroom with an actual egress window?
I'm not sure on that one.
How do you plan on getting rid of the tenant that's there?
Because I talked to the seller and asked the seller to ask for the tenant to be removed, and the tenant will be removed by next week. He's not under contract, so it's a month to month. They have no lease at all.
Is the rent plus utilities or utilities included when you're pulling?
I'm not sure. I just pretty much just put $800 down for a typical. I didn't include any NIPSCO or electricity in there. They're not being evicted. I just wanted to. This is just right now. They're paying $600 a month, and I know that's not market value for that house right now.
That includes everything, right?
Yes. I went on Zillow and just typed in rentals to see what rentals are going for in that area.
So it is a 3-bedroom now, a 1-bedroom for the basement.
Correct.
Probably doesn't have any egress with it.
It doesn't have any egress.
I just think that's the question to always ask, because as a 3-bedroom, you can get 8 or 850, but as a 2-bedroom, you have to get 8.
Okay. Those are compared to 2 bedrooms.
Those are all rentals?
All rentals.
All side by side, right?
Yeah.
Well, are these estimates or actually rented?
These are actually rented.
So what I mean, your numbers are pretty good. I mean, you can't really argue much with them. I mean, it takes into account everything. I mean, other than the rent is a little bit high, I think.
Oh, 7.
Projected.
Yeah, I went a little extra, probably 750.
In my experience, 2-bedroom rentals in Gary are very tough.
Mm-hmm.
3 bedrooms you can rent, you can get 80, 50 in Gary, probably get 1,000 in Gary. 2 bedrooms, probably closer to 650, maybe even in that area. I don't know.
Okay.
Taxes are a little bit low because they're actually 55 a year. I saw you got 60. This is a question because I want to see how you answer it, because I would do the same thing. Why is there no ARV after repair value?
Because I went off of Zestimate. Zestimate says 54, so we all know that that house Zestimate is not very accurate. But for the houses that are sold around the area, they're going around $20,000.
So basically,
So I'm going off of sold comps.
so I'll give him this. He's smart because I would never put an ARV on his property either. I would only sell it for cash flow, because the ARV, you're probably in it at 100%, right? I mean, if you're gonna buy Gary at about probably 100 there, that's probably the best thing that's missing from this pro forma. So actually, that is a pretty decent deal. I wanted to pick it apart.
Can you go back to your very first slide? What did you rent?
My brand, I got it off of Fiverr. I had somebody create it for me.
It's pretty good, actually. All right, now I'm supposed to be mean, right?
Go ahead.
That's a 2-car garage, right?
Correct.
My only thing is I'm actually a buyer in Gary. So if everybody has Gary properties, I'm a buyer. But this, I have a map. This is in my red zone, which means I don't buy.
Okay.
So there's literally 2 or 3 blocks north and south of Ridge Road, and this is right in. I think if I'm thinking exactly where this is at, in Gary, which is West Glen Park.
On the east side of Grant Street.
Right. So this is there's a 4-block all the way down to Broadway. That to me is a complete red zone for me. So I mean,
Yeah, why is it a rental?
just if you just drive up and down the streets and you'll find out.
Well, that was the question I was going to ask, because I like the numbers on the deal. I mean, heck, who would have spent 20 grand to make a bunch of money? What's the street like? How many vacants? How many boards up? How many fires? How many occupied?
I would say pretty much the whole street is occupied. I would say 1 is vacant right now. The street is pretty good shape. Right across that going south, there's a little bit of quick mart of an M&M that you can buy in a local grocery store. You're not too far from the liquor store. You're not far from the Grant Street where you got McDonald's and the village that used to be over there in that area.
So is this north or south of Ridge?
This is north of Ridge. 37. Yeah, north of Ridge.
You said there was a fire next door?
So it's just pretty much, it's just the siding was melted a little bit, nothing of the wood was, damaged.
The neighboring house.
Neighboring house, our neighboring house is, I just want to say the garage of the other neighbor got on fire, and it pretty much just the heat from that fire came over to the other, area of the house.
Was it fixed up or?
The house is fixed up, correct?
Why are they selling it?
Why are they selling it? They just want to move on and need cash. They want to get something else.
That's the next word they need. Right, so I have a couple houses on family here, but I'm at about 10 grand, so if you sell it for 10, I'll take it.
I'm already under contract, more than that.
We'll go back and talk to them, tell them you can get 10.
The market has changed since you paid 10 for those.
Yeah, Jeff. Has Manny seen this yet?
Yes, he has.
Like seen the house or just the numbers?
We've seen the house.
You said it needs siding in the garage, but what's it really gonna need to put a good tenant in there?
That's all they need.
Nothing, I mean, that's
That's it. That's it. Like I said, the roof and it's only 6 years old.
No paint, no carpet.
No paint or carpet.
It's like a unicorn in here, yeah.
Almost didn't want him to present it.
No, not a section 8.
Is there schools around there, or like,
No school.
I'm trying to,
No
are
school.
they charter
no
schools? Or?
Probably charter schools.
Okay. I don't know, I mean, the block sounds good. I mean, typically I look to see how many vacants are on the block, make sure there's no sentry standing on the corners waiting for me to pay my toll to get in there.
Did Manny offer on it?
No.
It's in the red zone.
I'll give you 11.
Hey, Manny, we are looking higher.
12,000.
Oh, here we go.
You've already had 2 offers, so that's what you're here for, right?
Oh,
Let's look at it at 6 a.m.
6 a.m. We can do that.
He's not joking, we're actually looking at properties in the morning.
You gonna be up at that time? I actually, I still have to talk to the.
Tomorrow's the tax sale, so you gotta start early.
let me get a hold of the. Like I said, this house I was contacted through the seller, so I would have to. The tenant is still in the house. So.
Is this one of the properties you just emailed me?
Yes, I did.
All right, so make an appointment and I'll come up.
Okay.
Well, I want to ask one more question. So you don't have to disclose what your offer price, what you're under contract for, but how did you arrive at that?
I just write about from the Seoul Compton area.
Not what you're selling it to us for, but you have it under contract for something less than what you're offering it to us,
Correct.
correct? Okay. So when you spoke to the seller, what did you use for your criteria to determine how much you were willing to pay for it so you could sell it to us as a price you're not offering?
Just like I said, looking at what the area was sold for in the area, and then just having my, what time I put into the house to get this house under contract, my marketing campaign to get in front of them. That's how I came up with my original price. Like I said, the 20,000 is negotiable.
That doesn't bother me so much. You're entitled to a profit, on the deal and everything else, and that's how the system works.
I just want to get to articulate what his criteria was for assessing the property from a wholesaler side.
Well, I looked at it this way, that there's nothing that needs to be pretty much done to the house.
See, that's one of my I guess red flags, because it seems odd. So have you walked through the entire property? You've been in every?
Yes, I've been in the house.
Okay, so and you kind of had, these were the notes of what you feel it needs: the siding, the windows.
There's 2 windows that need to be replaced. Correct.
Okay. All right. So you're fairly confident on that. Roof's 6 years old. Doesn't look 6 years old on the photo, but I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You have to see it in person. It's an HD video, HD picture.
Overall, yeah, good information. Also, I wanted to just give you a kind of a high five on some of your numbers seem really spot on here. You got 12% for management fee, maintenance, 10%. Your vacancy, you got a vacancy rate included in there. When I was reading through this, I didn't feel like I was being BS. So.
Yeah, it's all about the education. Before I got into real estate, I got educated first, so I was able to get,
get the tools available so I can be able to wholesale deals to other investors and not, shortchange them and, give them the facts of what these houses are being sold for.
Are those taxes correct at 679?
Well, that was the taxes from last year, from 2017.
We're a little bit lower, 855 now. That's at 2%.
And that's the homestead or not?
No, no, it's
Yeah.
So I know a lot of you guys, like Tom, I buy in Gary, my criteria, my red zone's a little different than Tom's, but 20,000 is a pretty reasonable number in Gary. So the people that I don't like to deal with are the people that's trying to sell me a house based on this estimate, or what the tax assessed value is, because this isn't a $60,000 house, even though the tax assessed value may say it's $60,000. So you got a very realistic number. That's a good number for Gary.
Well, that makes it a better.
On both sides. No.
You can. There's banks that will.
Tell us if you are.
It just takes a lot of phone calls. Or you need somebody like Melissa.
No, you don't need anybody. There are banks, to answer that question, there are banks that will do a loan at that level. They're few and far between, but they do exist in this area.
So if you're in a revitalization zone, which means it's depressed, Huntington Bank will do 100% financing at those prices where all your buyer has to pay is for the appraisal. And there's a map that you can go to on their website. It'll tell you whether it's a revitalization zone, which basically means low income. Right? So that's a lot of Gary. So they'll do those car mortgages, which is what they call them, at $20,000 bucks.
Would the existing tenant go up to 650?
I doubt it, because they're not paying any, like I said, NIPS or anything like that. They're just pretty much paying $600. No electricity or anything. Well, the tenant is very old, it's a grandma, so I'm like, she's not gonna go.
We're doing so good, and then you went grandma.
But I know other investors, I know she's not gonna pay $100, she's paying on her, so she's paying on her.
She's on a solo.
Yeah, she can't go on.
Fixed income.
In Antoine's defense, she's not a normal grandma.
Yeah, she's not.
She's pretty scary. So.
She's only 40. All right, well, let's give a round of applause. That was very good. When he first sent me this deal like 2 weeks ago, I looked at him like, I'm not sure I want him to present. So I'll take a look at that myself. I have, like Justin said, this isn't an area that you're going to buy it and hope for massive appreciation. I have one just like this in East Chicago. I paid 12 grand for it. Inherited a tenant paying $600 a month, and I've had it 18 months, and it's great cash flow. I didn't have to do anything to it. I just sit back and collect $600 a month plus our $50 late fee every month. So I love late fees. All right, Joel, come on up. Mike or number 2. All right, go ahead and say hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
There you go, perfect.
Awesome.
All right, this is another actual deal that Joel is looking to sell. So if you like it, if the Sharks like it, this is on the table, and he will take a check tonight.
It's true. I will take a check. And as you can see here, I've been trying to get here for like a year, and it's the first time I'm here is the night that they're treating guests like garbage. So it's awesome. I'm excited to be here, and bring it, fellas. All right.
Your place sucks.
Thank you. Thank you. So, welcome to Cedar Lake. This is, I've been doing this about 5 years. This is the second house that I've ever bought. And it's here. And notice that nice short walk down to the North Lake Shore where everybody goes fishing. So, easy walk to the big lake. Everybody loves that, right? I did mention earlier I love to be around the lake. Nice small lot, easy to mow, 800 square feet up, 2 bedrooms. There is a 3rd bedroom upstairs. There's no closet, so we can't declare it, but it's there. 1 bath, full unfinished basement, all 800 square feet underneath, but again, I can't really count it because of this exterior entry right now. So there's a lot of potential in the property that I haven't gotten to. No garage, so easy for tenants there, no maintenance, dead-end street, surrounded by newer homes. I think the one next to me on the right side is built in the 80s. Everything else is late 90s, 2000s. There's brand new ones going up on the block. And you can see here, Crown Point Schools. 2015, 16, 17, I do my own work for the most part, so most of what you see here was either me or someone that I know, a licensed contractor on furnaces and water heaters thing. It's not but all new floors throughout the whole place, stripped it all bare, all new trim, redid the bath vanity, the microwave went out, the dryer went out the day I bought the place, of course. The basement, we painted the whole thing and then found out that it leaked, so spent about $6 grand on real waterproofing, right? So all new channel inside, did the pumps, all new ceiling fans, lightings, deck upgrades on the outside. And then last year the water softener gave out, and this year they're putting in brand new roads, gutters, and drainage. So the lot actually is better than it's ever been because the city's actually doing the work. The tenants, these are actually really good people. I actually hope whoever buys this property keeps the tenants in there. They haven't missed in 2 years. They want to stay for another year. I was in the property Saturday. The self-proclaimed clean freaks are keeping it literally that clean, right? The laminate floors that I put in several years ago still look like I just put them in. And that's something. That's worth a lot. They're currently paying $880 a month. They're on a month-to-month lease because they thought they were going to buy in Crown Point. You all know what happened in Crown Point over the last couple of years, right? They're kind of stuck. They're going, well, we got to save more money. We're not there. So they just asked me Saturday if they can stay for another year. I said, I'll let you know on Tuesday. Right. All right, you're not going to see all the numbers that you saw from other folks here tonight because I'm not going to get into cap rates with you and stuff. I buy them cash. I look at the numbers I can get at the end of the year, and if I can make more than $5 or $6 grand a year, that's my house. That's what I look for. That is the way that this data is in front of you right now. Here's your rent for the year. Doesn't look right. I guess it is. The taxes, I just paid the first half at $1,504. Cedar Lake Utils, I pay them. I don't want anybody paying their own waste bill because I don't need that lien. And I want no excuse for the trash to go out of the house every month, right? So $75 a month is Cedar Lake Utilities. My latest insurance bill is $440 a year. So here's my 2018 year to date, my 2018 projected. Here's last year's actual number, 5526 came into my pocket. Tenants pay NIPSCO, they pay cable, they cut the grass, they shovel the snow. I don't do any of that stuff. That's all part of the contract. I also had a market value analysis done Saturday. So my realtor who works with Macaulay down the Lowell, she did the analysis. She said, I want this listing. She said, well, let's do this. I said, well, I don't want to do that with tenants in it. I'd rather find a cash buyer someplace and let's see what we can do. With the modifications, she said $129,900. Putting stairs in from the inside, adding a closet to the third bedroom, you can claim it all. It's a solid property at that point. You can see here the kitchen's actually in good shape, white appliances, not a huge house, but in good shape. That's the number that I put on the property. I'm a 1%er. And if you look at the 880 and you take the 75 out, that's your 1%. And that's the real value that I put on the property. All right, sharks, what do you got?
You say it's a short distance to the lake, what's the short?
It's 2 blocks, and 2 blocks, 2 houses per block. So you're literally walking to the end of 128th, which is 2 houses, and then you walk 4 houses down to the lake.
You can see the lake from there?
No. Unfortunately, no. Trees.
500 feet, 800 feet, 1,000 feet,
It's
how
up the
far?
hill, isn't it?
So it's right off the hilltop,
Well,
Yeah.
Feet, people know feet. How many feet?
down to the lake.
Yeah.
No, it's more than 100 feet for sure. I would say probably 500 can get you to the lake. It's really a short distance.
Sidewalks?
No sidewalks here. Brand new street and gutters going in, but no sidewalks.
Have you own lake right to that house?
I don't think so.
Well, I have a house there, say with a pair, with 2 lots to it too. And
Okay.
I have lake right, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. It is, it's just north of the public launch, exactly. So it's nice and close for that.
The 75 you said was sewer?
Yes.
All right, is that what, is that better? Obviously, just raise it, it was 4 months ago.
It went from 70 to 75 for me.
Oh, did it, okay.
Yeah, so I just went to 75. So you're getting screwed. Yeah, I don't know the difference.
I got one off Maple there on the other side.
Okay. This is well. This is well. So the water softener's there, I put in new pre-filters, and they said actually, with all the improvements on the street, the water actually has gotten better over the last 6 months. So the tenants are actually thrilled with the water. One parcel. One parcel.
It's kind of a funny question, but when I look at houses with wells, does water stink?
If you don't let the softener go, or if you let the softener go, yeah, it will stink, absolutely. But if you leave the softener in place, and we use these, it's just like a 2-pack of 1 micron filters from Lowe's. And I'll tell you what, for $12, that is the ticket for well water out there. Because you put those things in the pre-filters and then run it through the softener and it cleans it right out. Yeah, yeah.
No, deeper's better.
Deeper's better.
I've got a property maybe not even a half a mile from here, and we don't even soften the water. I mean, it's clean, it's clear, it's good.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's probably pull it up from the lake.
Probably.
Hey, Joel. Okay, so your ideal buyer is going to be a cash buyer, right?
Absolutely agree. Yep.
All right, so you're looking at a purchase of 85,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Your actual NOI from 2017 was $5,526, correct?
Correct.
Okay, are you self-managing?
Yes.
Okay, so it's self-managed. Looking at that, right, at your purchase price and your actual NOI, assuming that that's a correct number, I'm looking at a 6.8% return on my money.
That's the rate that I was looking at as well.
Okay. Do you think that self-managing a property, and I'm not knocking it, these are, the whole point of this is just so
Bring it in.
understand, I'm not,
That's good.
you know. But considering the amount of work that you have to do to self-manage a property, do you feel that it's worth a 6.8% return on $80,000 that I've had to save up to buy this?
The work that I put in up front justified it for me for the past year and a half without question. This has been the easiest property I've had to manage. In fact, when I went in Saturday, I hadn't been in almost 6 months. And I walked in the door and I said, well, things changed. They actually had installed some new light fixtures and upgraded some things. Oh, that just went out. We just went ahead and replaced it. So I haven't gotten calls. They don't call me unless something goes really wrong. They made management easy. I couldn't help but manage it myself.
What do I do next year when they move out? We buy a house in Crown Point, and then I have more of a headache for 6.8% of my money.
That's when you improve it and you reconsider what do I want to do. Or bump the rent, right? I held the rent for these folks too because I like them, quite honestly.
As a 3-bedroom down there, what would you feel market rent is? $880 to me seems low.
Way low.
Is it?
Very low. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, quite honestly. I've just kind of held it there because I've had good tenants, and the people who were in there for a year before that were great tenants too. And I just, like I said, I'm new. All 3 are upstairs.
Yeah, have you looked at what rental comps are in this area?
I looked at it a couple of years ago, and I felt like I was pricing it right in line with, a solid offer. Now, I might be under by $100, I don't know.
No, I think you're under by about $300.
Really?
And
It's off the market, folks. Thanks for coming. Good night.
No, I'm serious. We just bought I think 5 houses from this house for, and they were paying. I don't want to say how much, but they were paying $1,100 a month for a 2-bedroom.
Wow.
The one that we had was only like 900. 25 or something.
Did Myra comp this as a 2-bed or a 3-bed for you?
Myra comped this as a 3-bed, assuming I was gonna put in a closet.
And
Because
why again are you paying for the water or the waste?
I pay for waste and sewer just because I don't ever want a tenant to give me an excuse. I do that on every property I have. I don't want them to say, I'm sorry, we ran out of money, we didn't pay the waste. And so it's all piled up in my, that's just that is my tenant fear.
That's taking out of your profit.
Agreed.
So like, if you looked at what you say your profit is, $500, I mean, if you just took that, I'm saying, if the tenant paid for that piece of it, you're like close to 10% probably. And then if you were at market rent, you're probably more like 12 or 13%.
Yeah, there's potential here, there's no doubt about it. The only reason that I'm even pitching this right now is the fact that I'm looking at my strategy differently going forward.
Do you need money?
Hmm?
Do you need money?
No, I don't need money at all.
Because he said, about Gary House, you get cheaper than you want.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, no, this is paid for, right? This is. So I just changed my strategy, and I mentioned earlier I want to buy around lakes. I've changed that to be I want to buy on lakes. So I have an acquisition strategy now where I'm literally buying a property on Lake Dale, on Cedar Lake, on Lake of Four Seasons, whatever I can find, and rehabbing those. So this is the outlier house, and that's why it's here.
And I'm just looking at this too, like if I'm gonna make 6% of my money and have to do work, like there's no way I'm doing that.
Right.
Like if I put my money out there, I better make at least 10%. Never, ever, ever do I wanna make less than 10% on just my money. But if I have to actually do work on it, that's worth more money to me as well.
Have you done a rent increase since I've been here?
No.
So there's definitely easy room for us.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I'd say there's room.
Why do you need a closet for the 3rd bedroom?
I sold the
house. Modified as a bedroom.
According to who?
I thought that was what you needed for the NL house, right?
Nope. I mean, that may be what it needs for that closet, but that's not building code.
Okay.
So technically, you can use it as a 3rd bedroom, assuming it meets square footage and egress requirements. I mean, if you've ever been to Whiting or North Hammond, none of those things have closets. None of them. And they're like 70 square foot, maybe.
Well, and that's probably what this one probably is. It's probably a 70, 80 square foot bedroom.
Because they're using it as a bedroom, right? Probably.
They are. They're using it as a bedroom. It's right here in the front corner.
So if you don't think it's a legal bedroom, aren't you worried about getting sued if it burns down and they die in there?
No, it's got a big window. It's got a regular door on it.
Insurance company doesn't care what you think about the windows. They just want to know what a legal bedroom is.
Never gave that a thought.
Yeah.
I'm learning more than anybody tonight, I think.
How tall are the basement ceilings?
It is an 8-footer, and with some of the support beams and stuff, those are probably running right around 7. So you're right at the edge of what you can finish there. Furnace is less than 2 years. That and the water heater were done recently. The roof is probably the soft spot. If there's maybe 5 years left in it. That's probably the one thing on the house that I haven't done that's in my line of sight 4 to 5 years out. It's not leaking, it's not curling, it's just a...
At 800 square feet, right?
800 square feet. Yeah, so reasonable.
Melissa, was that at a 2 or 3 bedroom?
Does it need a tear off or is that on the one I was thinking?
I would do a tear off because there's multiple layers. Yeah, I was.
Any soft spots?
Not that I'm aware of. I walked on it as part of the inspection. It feels fine. I had to cover the whole thing. Not a fan, but no, it's.
If you did decide to keep this though, I really honestly believe you can get between $1,100 and $1,200 a month for rent if you make that 3rd bedroom, real 3 bedrooms, and do what you talked about yourself. So I know you're talking about doing on the lake now. I'm just telling you what I think the real market is there.
Well, you're making me reconsider the rents that I have on the lake now.
We're not all jokes.
I think your agent undervalued it as well. I sold one.
I would agree with that.
On 128, same size, no garage. We didn't even have a basement. This was on a crawl. And I put the value on that one at 120. It was a little bit bigger, but I can see this, I mean, that was a year ago too, I can see this at 150, 120 easily. So, you know, whoever's buying out of the rents may be a little bit low, jack them up. You get a ton of
Can I edit in
equity.
a minute? I can just move the 5 over. It's easy. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I think it's there, right? I really do. I think this is for the room. I'm here because you folks have the cash, right? Somebody has the cash. There's instant equity.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, your return, I mean, quite honestly, it sucks at 6 point whatever, even less, but if you're buying day one.
That's your return if you buy, his return is much higher, so we pay plus $4,000.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the play here is if you're willing to sit on it, you might be able to sit on this for a year and just, you know.
Somebody could buy it
And sell it for,
and sell it for
and make 30, yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't just retail it.
There's multiple plays.
Exactly, that's what I thought too.
It's-
House is selling instant.
Yeah, I mean, starter houses, you can't.
Agreed.
But he's got a tenant in it too, so that's not bad. True.
They could be gone in 30 days. It's true.
They could be gone.
It's not. I got some young kids. Have ours.
Did you bring a purchase agreement? Did you bring a purchase agreement?
I did not bring a purchase agreement.
Yeah, let's talk after the meeting.
Yeah, I know it's a pretty good deal. Like I said, it brought me away from my investing strategy. I'm at a point where it makes sense for me to pitch this for some other personal reasons too. So, you know.
What are you buying houses on lakes for?
The reason or the dollar?
What's your strategy?
My strategy is buy and hold. I haven't figured out exactly from a rental perspective. I've got some that are running full-time. I'm actually starting to look at a VRBO type functionality, vacation rental type thing for the next one that I'm working on. I actually bought one May 1st. And I'm trying to pick those houses up anytime I find one under 100 and a half.
I would look very heavily at Miller Beach.
I actually looked at Miller Beach in April.
We don't say that.
Too late.
I'm just kidding.
I'm already
Have you thought about VRBOing this?
No.
Chicago people?
Yeah.
Hadn't thought about it at all.
Think about it.
I mean, everybody's asking themselves why he's gonna sell at a discount, because he's an investor, right? But, I mean, who owns a house here? Everybody, pretty much, right? You're all motivated sellers, you just don't realize it. Your level of motivation may be different based on, I mean, I'll sell my house for 400 grand if it's worth 200, you know? Other than that, it may not be worth it, because my wife will kill me. So for him, he wants to do something else. I mean, we just bought an apartment building probably worth 270 from an accountant getting great returns for 205. Is he motivated? Yeah. Is he desperate? No. So, you know, Joel's not desperate, he just wants to move on and he understands he's gotta leave some meat on the bone, so.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, people sell stuff, you know, it will take less all the time, but it doesn't mean that they're desperate, so.
There's a huge difference. Someone asked why not just list it. We talked about that. There's a huge difference between taking a cash offer, closing in 2 weeks versus getting the tenant out, because it's a pain in the butt to show a house that has a tenant in. So now his income goes to zero. You're having all the showings, you gotta deal with the inspections and the appraisals and all of that, when, you know, for the convenience of cash being done like that, people are willing to take a discount. But this is the type of house where literally you can pay 80 grand, keep the tenant in there, maybe bump the rent up a little bit, or get them out and put a new tenant in there, but literally refi out in a couple of months, and you'll probably get all of your money out, if not more.
Why not do it that way? I mean, like I said, I'm an all cash type guy. I have no interest in pulling the equity out. I just invest in something else. So.
One thing that I would say is I want to applaud you on knowing what you want. I think that's a lesson that probably a lot of people in this room could learn. But you have your strategy, you know what kind of properties you want, you know you don't like debt, that's totally fine. Some people like that, some people don't. But I applaud you for knowing what you want in life and going for it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, every day I'm mired in the software world, right? This gives me an opportunity to go do things and actually see things happen at the end of the day versus having it disappear into the ether, right? It's just, it's a different thing. So, you know, keeping my strategy is more important to me. The money comes from the day job right now. That's not what this is going to be for me.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, so there we go. All 4 of those were real deals. If you like any of them, grab the folks and get their number. You can talk after the meeting, tomorrow. Tomorrow may be too late. Boom, there we go. And who has the clicker? All right. So, before we get into any deals, I put this on the website, I put it in the email, but I mentioned, I don't know, call it an incentive or what, but for anyone that brings a guest each week, you don't have to be a member. If you've been here, like all of you have been here at least once, if you come back next month and you bring a guest, you get a little ticker, because I can't spell, so in the email it said ticker, or I think the Facebook page said ticker. Ryan Steele, he actually runs a really good group in Elmhurst. He's my spell check, so he let me know about that. But bring a guest, you get a little ticket, and each month we'll give away a free prize. So today we had 1 ticket, and the prize today is a Visa gift card, $50, and this goes to Mr. Jeff Heflin. There we go. I am 1099ing you for that, so see Tracy? That is true. I'll just add a couple of zeros. I need the tax write-offs. So next month, bring a guest. I'd like to really outgrow this space. There's a couple of spaces that I'm looking at that are bigger and nicer, but we need a little bit more people. So again, the power of this group is based on how many people you guys get here. That's more people for you to network with, more contractors, more agents, more wholesalers, more of everybody that's going to help you build your network. So we don't have time for people to talk to the sharks tonight, but if you do have a deal that you want to pitch real quick, let me grab Jeff. Can you, if anyone has a deal, grab the mic from Jeff. Give your 30-second. You already spoke. This one's good too.
I got another house that's 3701 West 47th Avenue in Gary, Indiana, in Calumet Township. It's a fixer-upper. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,867 square feet with a basement. It's a hoarder house, so everything needs to be replaced. Total gut.
How much?
Purchase price 35.
ARV?
ARV between 118 and 122.
That 2020 Crossroad, that was my listing, so you're welcome for that. So, good area.
3701 West 47th Avenue.
Alan, you had a deal? Come on up. If anyone else has anything, just come around here and stand behind Alan and grab the mic when he's done.
Anyone know where Bass Lake is? Yeah. I have a log cabin home I have listed as a broker, but it has an appraisal on it in 2014 for $355,000, and current comparables still support that. There's a mortgage on it for $275,000, and the owner is willing to allow someone to take over payments for $20,000 down. So that's a great second home or a rental property. The rentals there for that home should be $275 a night during the on season. Bass Lake is a great recreational lake.
Is this on the lake?
Yes, 50-foot frontage.
Where on the lake at? North, south, east, west, where?
It's on the north side, 2220 South County Line Road.
How much is the mortgage?
1720 thereabouts.
No exemptions?
It's a homeowner's exemption.
So he wants the take over the 275 mortgage plus 20 down to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was built in 2002. He built it, had it built, with the intention of making it his retirement home. He lives in Chicago, but life happens and his plans changed. And he's only stayed there a few times during the whole time period he's owned it. The dishwasher's never even been used. So it's in moving condition, although there is some deferred maintenance, probably about $3,000 worth of work. Odds and ends moving down there.
Is this currently on the market now somewhere, or?
Yeah, I have it on the market as a broker. So anybody has the interest, you can get in touch with me with that. I also have another one I'm working on. I'm in the middle of negotiations on a home in Portage. Comps are solid in the 180s, and I'm looking to maximum maybe $90,000 for it. I actually don't have the $90,000 right now. The money's tied up. I have 20 I can put into it. I'm looking for a private lender to loan me some money for 30 to 45 days. Once I have it, I'll refinance it and cash out, or I'll just give it a flip real quick. Depends on what terms we work out for the private money.
Describing that.
I put a house under contract this morning, Couts, 715 South Main Street. ARV is 162,000, so 3, 1.5, 1,800 square feet. 90% of the basement's finished, needs a roof, pretty bad. It's got some water damage upstairs. I'm looking at about $8,000 in repair. I got a quote on the roof for $3,700. I got it under for $95. This is a hard money deal. If anybody's interested, I got cards I can hand out to you. So,
are you looking to sell it or looking for financing?
I'm looking for financing. So I'm looking
Okay.
for about 6 months. I could either burr this. That's kind of one of my goals. I might flip it too. Margins look pretty good. I haven't actually had time to run through the entire deal. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So 6 months, I could do 12.3. I'm sticking 95.
95 with the repair?
No, I'm looking at about 8 to 12,000 out of my own pocket after holding repairs. So if anybody's interested, get a hold of me. I got cards. Grab me before night's over.
Anyone else? Wholesale?
Right here.
I got sorry, Jim.
That's okay. I got a duplex in Crown Point. It's 6 bedroom, 3 up, 3 down. Going to be around 135 if anybody's interested. Does need some work, but if you're interested, come see me. And we can talk.
We're in Crown Point, like Crown Point.
North Street, 413 East North Street. So if you're interested, come talk to me.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for making the drive up. Jim was one of the first investors I met when I started wholesaling. Good guy. Any other deals? All right, next month we have Jeremy. Jeremy was one of our sharks. Knowing that we had Anthony talking about multifamily, knowing that Jeremy is really, really good at analyzing those deals, I wanted him on the Shark Tank. But next month he's going to be talking about commercial multifamily, which is going to be 5 units and up. And that's kind of his specialty. It's not as scary as you think. So come next month, it's June 18th, same time, same place. So that will be Jeremy. And again, if you know anyone, agents, investors, people interested in what we do, don't hesitate to bring them next month, get a little ticker, maybe win a drawing. Go to our website, Invest NWI. That's how you get on our property list for the wholesale deals that we have. There's a tab there for group information. As soon as our new website is out and ready, if you're a member, we'll get you access to that. That website is investnwigroup.com. Keep it pretty simple. So, real quick on the membership, if you're not a member, you can just pay $10 a month as you come. We have an individual membership, $90, $135 for couples or business partners. And then we have a corporate membership, which is $500. That's for 5 people from your corporation business. It's not tied to any specific people, so you can. That's good for companies that have a lot of people, and anybody can come up to 5 people a month. Again, third Monday of every month, 6:30 to 8:30, and we really appreciate you guys supporting us, showing up, and we look forward to seeing you guys next month. Like the Facebook page if you haven't had a chance to like that. And let's just give another big round of applause to the 4 investors that spoke, the Shark Tank. Everybody did a really great job tonight. I was fun listening to all of you guys chat.